bold. It's bold. It
bold.
strikes me as a design that a lot of people are not going to copy. Some definitely will. They always do. But like Apple showed an all clear, all glass home screen setup where you have whatever wallpaper you want, and then all of your icons are clear, all your widgets are clear, everything is clear. That doesn't that feels like a skin like I installed on top of my phone.
Everyone was comparing it to like old Android skins from like 10 years ago.
Yes, it's the look of the year. I don't know if this is gonna age very well. I don't want an all clear setup. I mean, it's cool if you love your wallpaper, but like I need to be able to read the icons and the text. So yeah, that didn't look great to me. Well, we could talk about any number of these 26 versions of OS first, but I think the one that most people want to talk about is iOS 26.
Yeah.
So we should probably just jump in there. So
Liquid
glass everywhere. Liquid glass is the new aesthetic that is specifically the transparent and refractive, almost material design of all of these buttons and toggles and materials, the lock screen, the clock, the fonts, the windows, the everything.
Yeah.
And it's taking after a lot of what we've seen in Vision Pro. So I am mixed on it. I've seen screenshots of it that look really good.
Yeah.
I've seen screenshots of it that look really bad.
Yeah.
I think the parts that look really good to me are like extra clean and look pretty minimal, and they're like buttons hiding out of the way and nice animations and things pop in and out, and the physics are nice, and I'm sure the haptics match.
Yeah.
The parts that look really bad are, okay, so there's this thing, and I talked about this briefly in videos. It's not super complicated. When you're editing a video and you're putting text in it, you try to find like a clean place in the video to put the text, right? And if you don't have any clean place to put the video, you can put a little background, like a little soft white or soft black, so that you can put the text on it and it's contrasty and it's readable. If you don't, you can't read the text very well. And so with all this transparency, there are many instances that I saw where Apple is trying to do this really clever, like dynamic switching of light on dark background and dark on light background. So you'll scroll past a dark album art cover.
Yeah.
And all the UI elements that you have like floating in this glass above it turn light so that they stay readable.
Yeah.
And then you go past it to some white empty space, and all of that stuff flips to dark so that it stays readable. And they try to do this really quickly and smoothly so that you don't really notice, but it's always readable. But there are so many instances of like scrolling or being halfway between a dark and a light where things just look weird and hard to read.
Yeah, it's definitely relying a lot on the system to acknowledge what's on the screen.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm on the first developer beta, and it's not bugging right now, probably because I have this like dark widget near the top. When that dark widget is not there, most of the time the text it's almost unreadable. It actually darkens the background to allow it to be a little more readable. I think one of the primary problems right now that they may change once they do more developer betas is that the text is white on top of a mostly white translucent background on top of a light background. Yeah. So it darkens the background automatically, but it doesn't always do that. And honestly, it's been not doing that most of the time. And I only think it's doing that because I have a black widget that's counting down right now.
I think,
Our designers were very surprised when they first saw that. They're like, that does not meet the like contrast standards or whatever that they went to school for.
It's bold. It's bold. It strikes me as a design that a lot of people are not going to copy. Some definitely will. They always do. But like Apple showed an all clear, all glass home screen setup where you have whatever wallpaper you want, and then all of your icons are clear, all your widgets are clear, everything is clear. That feels like a skin like I installed on top of my phone.
Everyone was comparing it to like old Android skins from like 10 years ago.
Yes, it's the look of the year. I don't know if this is gonna age very well. I don't want an all clear setup. I mean, it's cool if you love your wallpaper, but like I need to be able to read the icons and the text. So yeah, that didn't look great to me.
Liquid glass in general, I think, is like very technically beautiful and impressive.
Yeah.
And you can see like the light bending around certain elements and things like that, and like light refracting, and it's awesome to like look at. But practically on a phone, it's like so distracting. Like it's so much.
I thought for a lot of the things, it besides the like transparent on transparent one.
Yes.
Looks good. Like the dark mode icons that still had that like sheen to it and a little bit of like depth. I thought those looked like, I think there was a dark mode photos like icon that looked really, really good.
Yeah.
And like just looking at David's phone right now, he's going through it. When you had the just your lock screen up, like the background pieces looking, once it like opens up and it kind of has this like sheen to the edges of all the background pieces, and the time fits really nicely, and that looks really good.
Yeah.
But then the transparent on transparent is the one we're all looking at because it's the most obvious. I think that looks terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are new icon designs across the board. There's a new, I mean, we'll get to other OSs in a second, but there's a new camera icon. There's a new phone icon, slightly different looking icons that all still look familiar, but are just a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say it looks a lot like iOS 7, which I'm kind of digging in a strange way. I can kind of acknowledge that the design is not
Can I see that real quick?
fantastic, or like it's not really what people expect for right now in design history. But I do like that it's opinionated, because now we have Material 3 Expressive, which is very opinionated, and we have this, which is very opinionated. The surprise that I had was
not opinionated, rebellious. Remember.
right. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. Yeah.
I'm sorry, David.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It is more cartoony than I expected. Because
Bubbles, a lot of bubbles.
just like the icons and
Remember
shapes,
the
The
SpongeBob
icon
bubble
shapes, they look really big on your.
they are big.
Okay, that in
well,
itself
'cause that's an
feels
option.
cartoony. Okay,
That's an option.
I need you guys to Google SpongeBob Bubble Buddy.
We don't
no,
have to.
yeah.
we
I
don't
don't
have
I
to.
promise.
Exactly.
You can picture it? Yeah. That's the new control.
Pretty much, yeah.
Was it Ellis who said this should have been called stained glass? I think you said that.
No.
yesterday.
Glass would have been sick.
Well, you could have taken credit for it because it makes way more sense.
Not my
but
style.
I don't know. Photos app looks great. I actually think that Spotify app looks really good.
Yeah.
But I mean, my favorite part about this is every time any company tries to make all icons on a homepage look the same, there's always a couple apps that just don't match it. And I've seen a bunch of people post stuff already, like the ChatGPT app is just still a plain white app.
Yeah.
And the minute one icon doesn't match all the other ones, none of them match.
Yeah.
It happens every time.
They also, so I think it was last year that they introduced the tinted icons, or was that 2 years ago?
I think it might have been 2
Maybe
years
it was
ago.
2 years ago. And I think that's even more of a case of like in like one or two instances you can make it look decent, but otherwise it looks terrible. They also introduced this new clear one that they decided to highlight a lot for some reason.
Yeah.
It's hard to distinguish anything. I do not know what they were thinking with that.
No, yeah, I think that's the one we were saying. Like, that one makes the least sense out of all of it.
Yeah.
It's the most eye-catching. It's the reason everyone used it in their thumbnail.
It's going to age the fastest.
It looks bad though. Like you can't like in all the thumbnails. I'm like, I don't know what app that is.
Yeah.
You know, it's just confusing.
This is also maybe, and we can move on from it in a second, but this may also be a thing where when app developers who have third-party apps, they update their app icons, maybe they'll be a little bit more legible, because as of right now, Apple's own apps, they've designed for this. Yeah. And if they're not designed for this, then they can be automatically converted, but maybe they aren't as contrasty as they could be.
Right.
So, well, we can give it time. It's a public beta, or it's a developer beta now. It's very early.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I also want to say that like using their stock wallpapers, all this stuff looks good, but like using your own wallpapers, it looks much worse.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
It looks much worse.
Legibility is going to be challenging.
I think that they designed some wallpapers that are just like a couple of colors that are also glassy, and everything kind of works well together, and they're dynamic so that it gets darker in certain times. But when you use your own wallpapers, it's like... Ugh.
It's like remember when they first introduced the notch, all their wallpapers were very dark on the top, so you couldn't see it. They know what they're doing.
Oh, they know
for
what they're
sure.
doing.
They know the things that aren't quite perfect and how to make them look fantastic.
Yeah.
And then you put a picture of your kid up and it looks terrible.
Yeah.
I, Ellis, also watched. I was watching Dub Dub like the rest of us and was sort of like unimpressed by the liquid glass thing. But on Twitter, this guy who works for Apple is an interface designer named Sean Karunamoney, who worked on liquid glass, posted this quick 45-second video of just sort of demonstrating some of the things it can do, which I left in the show notes if you want to watch it yourself. and it actually like completely changed how I felt about liquid glass, because I sort of saw it in the same way I saw Windows Aero or Mac or like Aqua as like this overarching design language. But I think it's actually much more of a lighting engine, because when you look at this sort of, it's all these close-ups of the buttons and stuff. And really what it enables you to do in your interfaces is have 3-point lighting, because there's specular highlights on all the like you actually get real rim lighting effects.
Yeah.
And I feel like what this actually brings to the table, you know, I'm not like an expert 3D renderer guy. I just sort of fool around with it. But things like rim lighting can be really intensive, like compute wise. And so if Apple figured out a way to like optimize a lot of these effects, like diffusion, specular highlights, things like that, and then package it in a way that developers can implement it really easily, a la, you know, our Vision Pro episode and talking about all these sort of APIs that they give developers. I don't believe they discussed APIs in like the 20-minute Liquid Glass specific talk. But I would be curious in about 6 to 12 months interviewing a bunch of developers and learning about how hardware intensive these lighting effects are, and then B, how as a developer you're given the support to make your stuff this. I don't know. Watching this 45-second thing really changed my opinion on it, to be like, actually, these are some potentially really powerful visual effects that might be packaged in a way that enables them to really be everywhere.
RTX on.
No, I agree that the more I've watched from Apple itself, the more impressed I am with how powerful and how intricate a lot of these effects are. If you've seen people do the like cursor hovering effect, instead of just being a bubble, it has like clear shape to the edges of the bubble, so the light sort of it refracts differently around the edges versus the center. All these little things.
Or like on sliders where the rim, on sliders when the rim lighting like changes depending on where you are in the slide.
Which, by the way, for the Mac with the touch bar, they actually updated the touch bar to have
There's
like
still
liquid
a touch bar?
That's funny.
on the Mac. Well, the one that
The old one?
the old
like-
one. They
I think
updated
there's like
the
an
touch
M1.
bar to be a liquid glass touch bar.
That's so funny.
Interesting.
But
Bring
you
it
know,
back.
I see all of that, and I on one hand, I can be both impressed by how intricate and how powerful these effects are in real time, and also think about, you know, your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't think about whether or not they should.
Yeah.
if that
Some
makes
people
sense.
are going to make some really sick like themes and stuff on there, and like with a great wallpaper that all matches, and their home screens are going to look incredible. And then some of our parents are going to turn on the fully transparent one and try and call us to be like, why can I not read?
The icons are
anything on my
see-through.
phone?
What the hell is this?
Yeah, it's one of the questions that it's like, if the average user can't make it look good, is it good design?
Which, if we're judging the average user, the iPhone is the phone to judge the average user on. Like, the most normal people are using it.
But what if I want everything to look like a tennis ball, huh?
Did you call me a normie?
Real quick, did you notice when they introduced liquid glass, they called it an entirely new expressive material? When that happened, Adam was like,
Material expressive, baby.
I thought that was very funny.
Material 3 expressive?
Expressive.
Thanks so much for watching this clip. If you want to hear Ellis maybe beatbox during this episode live on the podcast. Oh wait, it's happening right now.
I'll just give you a little taste.
Well, you
know
got to
what I
make
mean?
them do something.
No. They just got to go click on. They just got to go click on that full podcast. Maybe drop a little on the subscribe button. All right, ready? This is what you get a taste of.
Nice.
Is that dub?
Yeah,
That's dubstep. That's reggae, actually.
guys, I think it's ska.
No, it's not.
Like
It's a new genre called like and subscribe.
Yeah. Please do it.